All right, ready to dive deep. Today, it's Humphrey Yang's 10 crucial personal finance lessons. We're going to really dissect his
Oh
advice.
yeah, Yang's video is packed with good stuff. Should be a fun one to unpack.
So, to kick things off, Yang starts with, well, delayed gratification. We hear about that a lot, but he has a really interesting take on it.
Yeah, he goes beyond just like being patient, right? It's about retraining your brain, basically, to think long term about money.
Like building that financial muscle.
Exactly. And it really can make a difference, like big time, in how you manage your money overall.
I like that, financial muscle. And he has this saying, if you can't buy it twice, don't buy it. So simple, but I've been trying it out.
How's it working?
Really well, actually. It's like a little gut check before I buy something.
Yeah, it makes you stop and think, do I really need this?
Totally. Okay, so lesson 2. Yang introduces what he calls his big 3 numbers: expenses, savings rate, and net worth.
Those are the big ones for sure. Your financial vital signs, you can say.
That's a good way to put it. Okay, so I guess everyone tracks their expenses, right? I mean, there's so many budgeting apps.
Good. That's the first step, knowing where your money goes. Yang says try to keep fixed expenses under 60% of your income.
Gives you more breathing room, right? For saving and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which brings us to savings rate. How much are you putting away?
It could be better, honestly. Aiming for that 10% Yang recommends.
Yeah, 10% is a good starting point for sure.
Mhm.
And then, of course, there's net worth. That's the big picture, the scorecard.
Right, how much you're actually worth, financially speaking. I love that he offers a free net worth tracker on his website.
Super helpful tool. Okay, lesson 3. This one kind of surprised me. Keep your investments simple. He actually cautions against too many ETFs.
Yeah, that threw me off a little too. More is always better, right? At least that's what I thought.
It seems that way, but he argues too many ETFs can actually hurt your portfolio in the long run.
Too much of a good thing, maybe.
Right. You can end up with these overlapping holdings, things get complicated, you know, and your returns could even take a hit.
That makes sense. He uses the example of VOO and VOE, right?
The S&P 500 ETF and then a mid-cap value ETF, you're basically doubling up on a lot of those holdings.
Huh. Okay, so I guess the takeaway is don't just blindly diversify.
Right. Simple is often better, especially with investing.
Mhm.
Now, ready for lesson 4? This one is a bit more fun. Depreciating assets. All those shiny new things we love to buy.
Oh, yeah. The things that lose value as soon as you drive them off the lot. Or unbox them in some cases.
Right. It's tempting to want the latest and greatest, but they can drain your finances, especially if you're financing them.
Yeah, Yang is very clear about that. Don't finance depreciating assets.
Definitely not. You're basically paying interest to lose money. It's a bad cycle.
I loved his story about trying to sell his used furniture online.
Oh, yeah, the Facebook Marketplace saga.
Mhm.
So relatable.
And it illustrates the point perfectly. Okay, lesson 5. This is a good one. Time is your friend in investing. I really like how optimistic Yang is about the stock market, long term.
Yeah, and he has the data to back it up. He cites a study, I think, from a blog called Of Dollars and Data
Mhm.
about stock market returns. They found if you hold stocks for 20 years or more, you almost always get a positive return.
It doesn't matter when you start, even if the market seems high.
Right, and they had this really cool visual showing how as your holding period gets longer, the chances of losing money, like, shrink drastically.
I think that's reassuring, for people who are worried about market ups and downs.
Totally. He even uses the example of 2012 when, a lot of people thought the market was too expensive.
And they missed out on huge gains in the following years, right?
Exactly. So the lesson is don't try to time the market. Just stay invested.
Okay, lesson 6. This one challenges a common assumption, I think. Yang says building wealth early on, it's more about aggressive saving than investment returns.
Yeah, might sound counterintuitive, but it's all about compounding.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around compounding, to be honest.
So basically, the earlier you start saving, the longer your money has to grow, and it grows on top of itself, exponentially. Even small amounts can add up big time over time.
So it's not just about getting those big returns, it's about giving your money time to work its magic.
Exactly. There's a blog, 4-Pillar Freedom, I think, we give this great example, reaching $100,000 in 6 years with a 7.5% return. Most of that is savings, not investment gains.
Wow, okay. I guess it really does pay to start saving early.
Big time. All right, on to lesson 7. This one's a bit more philosophical. Embrace the boredom of investing.
Oh, I like that. Tell me more.
So Yang was on a podcast with Morgan Housel, the author of The Psychology of Money, and Housel said something like, successful investing is when you lose the password to your investment account.
Okay, that's a great quote.
Right. It's like, set it and forget it. Don't mess with it. Just let it grow.
So it's more about discipline than trying to be a stock market genius.
Totally. Hustle also said something like, aiming for average returns for an above-average period of time is how you end up in the top 5% of investors.
Wow. So consistency is key.
Absolutely. All right, lesson number 8. Stop comparing yourself to others.
Oh, that's a tough one, especially in the age of social
Oh,
media.
I know, right? But Yang's point is everyone's financial journey is different.
We all have different goals, different values, different starting points.
Exactly. And
Hmm.
comparing yourself just leads to, feeling bad and making bad decisions.
Like trying to keep up with the Joneses, basically.
Right. And it's a recipe for disaster.
He says to focus on your own goals and your own path.
Exactly. It's your journey. Okay, ready for lesson 9? This one's kind of funny. Avoid the 30K millionaire trap.
Wait, it's a 30K millionaire.
That's like the illusion of wealth, someone who looks rich but actually isn't.
They have the fancy car and the designer clothes, but are drowning in debt.
Exactly. It's all about keeping up appearances, not building real wealth.
There's a quote from The Millionaire Next Door that sums it up perfectly. If your goal is to become financially secure, you'll likely attain it. But if your motive is to make money, to spend money on the good life, you're never going to make it.
It's so true.
Okay, last one for this part. Your risk tolerance is unique. I mean, that seems kind of obvious, right?
It seems like it, but
Yeah.
Yang's point is to really understand your risk tolerance. It's not just about like how much risk you're comfortable with, it's about how much risk you can actually afford to take.
So, like your age, your income, your goals, all of that plays a role.
Exactly. And how comfortable you are with, seeing your investments go up and down.
Right. Some people can stomach more volatility than others.
And your risk tolerance can change over time too. It's not static.
That's a good point. So I guess it's about regularly checking in with yourself,
Yeah,
right? And making sure your investments still align with your risk tolerance.
absolutely.
Okay, so we left off talking about risk tolerance. And you know how it's different for everyone.
Yeah. Got to
Yeah.
find that balance, right? Taking some risks, but still feeling good about your investments.
So what's next on Yang's list of financial tips?
All right, so lesson number 11, he calls this the one job trap. And he says it's important to, have multiple streams of income.
Yeah, build that financial security. I hear that a lot, but like, how do you actually do it? Especially if you have a full-time job already.
Well, Yang suggests thinking about side hustles, freelancing, even things like rental properties or, passive income streams like dividends or maybe creating digital products.
So finding ways to monetize your skills, basically.
Exactly. It's about having a backup plan,
Yeah.
in case something happens with your main job or like the economy takes a hit.
Right, that peace of mind is priceless. Okay, lesson 12, invest in yourself. This one I think often gets overlooked.
So important. Investing in your education, your skills, even just personal development, right? All of that can lead to higher earning potential and, more fulfilling work too.
It's like that saying the best investment is in yourself, right?
Exactly. Keep learning, Yang says. Take classes, workshops, read books, whatever it takes to stay ahead of the game.
To stay relevant, right?
Yep. The more you learn, the more valuable you become, and that means more earning power. Okay, ready for lesson 13. This one can be a bit scary for some people. Negotiate your salary and benefits.
Oh, yeah, asking for what you deserve. It can be intimidating.
It can, but it's so important. Yang gives some good tips, like researching your market value,
Yeah.
practicing your pitch.
Be prepared, basically.
Right. Know your worth and don't be afraid to ask for it. He also says, think of it as a conversation, not a confrontation.
Finding that win-win. Right.
Exactly. And don't forget, negotiation isn't just about salary. Benefits matter too. Health insurance, retirement, paid time off, all of that.
The whole package. All right, let's talk about lesson 14. Give back and use your wealth for good. I love this one.
It's a good one. Yang's all about incorporating philanthropy into your financial plan, making a positive impact.
It's not just about the money, right? It's about what you do with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Donating to charities, volunteering, supporting causes you care about. There are so many ways to give back.
It's about aligning your money with your values, I guess. Okay, lesson 15. This one can be a bit intimidating too, especially for people who are just starting out. Seek professional financial advice.
Yeah, a lot of people think financial advisors are only for, wealthy people, but that's not true.
Anyone can benefit. Right.
Definitely. Especially when you're going through big life changes or if you're dealing with complex financial stuff like planning for retirement or, saving for college for your kids.
Right. Having an expert in your corner can be so helpful. Okay, so lesson 16. Yang reminds us Financial freedom is a journey, not a destination.
Love this. It's so easy to get caught up in chasing some end goal, like a specific net worth or whatever.
That's about the process, right?
Yeah,
Making those good choices consistently.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a marathon, not a sprint. You're going to have ups and downs along the way, but just keep moving forward.
I like that analogy. It takes the pressure off. Okay, lesson 17. Protect your assets.
This one's all about insurance. Having enough coverage, to protect yourself and your stuff.
Insurance can be boring, but it's so important.
It is. You got to have health insurance, homeowners, or renters insurance.
Yeah.
Yang even talks about disability insurance, which a lot of people forget about.
Right, that protects your income if you can't work.
Exactly. And then there's estate planning, too. Wills, trusts, all that.
Making sure your loved ones are taken care of. Okay, let's move on to lesson 18. Debt. It's a scary word for a lot of people.
It can be, but not all debt is bad.
There's good debt and bad debt, right? Like a
Mhm.
mortgage can be considered a good debt.
Right? Because, you're investing in an asset that'll hopefully appreciate in value. And student loans, too, if they're for a degree that's going to help you earn more money.
Makes sense. But credit card debt, that's definitely bad debt.
Yeah, that high-interest debt can really hurt you. Yang says to focus on paying down that bad debt as quickly as possible.
There are different methods for that, right? Like the snowball method or the avalanche method.
Yeah. The snowball, you pay off your smallest debts first for motivation. And the avalanche, you tackle the highest interest rates first to save money.
Find what works for you, right? Okay, lesson 19. Teach kids about money from an early age. This is so important.
It is. Given those good financial habits early on,
Break the cycle of financial illiteracy, right?
Exactly. Yang says, yeah, to give them an allowance, teach them about saving and budgeting, even let them make some age-appropriate financial decisions.
Make it fun, right? Like a game. Okay, last one for this part. Lesson 20. Surround yourself with a supportive community and find mentors. I love this one.
It's all about community, right? Having people who support your goals, who understand the challenges.
Like a financial cheer squad. And mentors, people who have already achieved what you want to achieve.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to reach out, ask for advice, get inspired.
All right, so that's 20 down, 5 to go. I'm ready for the final stretch. And we're back. Can you believe we're already at the final part of our deep dive into Humphrey Yang's financial wisdom?
It's gone by fast, hasn't it? But don't worry, he saved some of the best stuff for last.
All right, lay it on me. What's lesson 21?
So this one's all about mindset, having a growth mindset when it comes to personal finance.
I like that. It's not like you just learn the rules and you're done.
Right. It's a constant learning process. Be open to new information, always be learning and growing.
So it's more about progress than perfection.
Exactly. Don't get discouraged if you make mistakes. Just keep learning.
Okay, lesson 22. This is a big one. Understanding your credit score.
So yeah, credit scores, they can be a bit of a mystery, honestly.
They can be, but Yang breaks it down really well. The factors that affect your score.
Like paying your bills on time, how much credit you're using, stuff like that. Exactly. And he gives some solid advice on how to improve your score, which is so important, for getting loans, credit cards, even renting an apartment sometimes.
So it's worth paying attention to. All right, what's next?
Okay, lesson 23. This one is for anyone who's, maybe a bit more adventurous with their investments, investing beyond the stock market.
Ooh, interesting. Like what kind of stuff?
So Yang talks about things like real estate, precious metals, even cryptocurrencies.
Crypto, huh? That's a roller coaster.
It can be. He's not saying everyone should jump into those things, but it's worth exploring, doing your research, seeing if it's right for you.
Definitely. I mean, the stock market isn't the only game in town.
Right. Diversify, but do it wisely. Okay, on to lesson 24. Patience and persistence.
Oh, I need to hear this one. I'm not the most patient person sometimes.
I hear you. But when it comes to building wealth, patience is key.
There are no shortcuts, right?
Nope. Yang emphasizes that it takes time, it takes effort, it takes discipline, and he tells these really inspiring stories, about people who stuck with it and achieved amazing things financially.
I always love those stories. It's like, if they can do it, maybe I can too. Right?
Exactly. It's about believing in yourself and your goals. Okay, ready for the final lesson?
I am. Hit me with it.
This one is a good one to end on. Celebrate your wins.
Oh, that's so important. It's easy to get caught up in the grind.
Yeah.
Always striving for the next goal.
I know. But Yang's point is to enjoy the journey, too.